very surprised at how he's playing off of audio there. Spoit understands audio a lot better than I thought he did. Holy shit. Just seeing him understand the difference between the Jackal shooting inside versus outside is insane. Because if we go back and listen to how he's shooting. What is going on, guys? A21Mayo here. And in today's video, I'm very excited to bring you guys a VOD review of the man himself, Spoit, in ranked. I go into a lot of great detail on a lot of big topics that you can definitely learn from, but also a lot of small topics that no one else is talking about that can definitely determine winning or losing rounds in games in Siege. If you guys do enjoy this video or learn anything from it, make sure you guys leave a like throughout your time watching. It definitely helps out with the YouTube algorithm and also allowing my videos to reach a larger audience. And I just want to throw this out there. No, I don't think I'm better than Spoit. He is arguably one of the most mechanically gifted and skilled players in the game. So I just want to flat out say, no, I don't think I'm better than Spoit. I just think it's a fun kind of concept to VOD review really good players. So that way I can educate you guys on what they're doing and why they're doing these things. But with all of that being said, let's jump into the video.
What the?
Hey, in CC ping.
Alright, so I'm not too sure what he is doing right now. So he called for his team to open Armory Breach, but he's working Archive side. I'm not really too sure why currently. Usually you want to be grouped up with the team. Not really like trying to solo push. I see this happen a lot.
He's on the hedge,
Oh my god, no one's got TP'd.
With lower elo. But I mean, it is Spoit, so I'm sure there's definitely a reason for him doing what he's doing. Yeah, so it seems like he's just like trying to work picks. Maybe try to sandwich the attackers, or sorry, the defenders between the attackers. Like if he's on, you know, Archive's balcony here, like looking through sight window, and then there's also his team opening the armory wall on the other side of the map. Then, you know, I could see what he's trying to accomplish here now, of giving a crossfire on the bomb site and things like that. It's kind of rude, to be honest, by that Legion. That Orcs, rather.
Oh my god, here we kill the Oryx.
Okay, so huge thing that you saw there. This is something that a lot of people need to learn in this game, and it's changing the elevation of your head. And this is a super important skill set to have. Just because that way you don't get fried off of an angle because they shoot you in the head first versus you changing your elevation. So as you saw there, if I can possibly go back here for just a moment.
Oh my god, here we kill the Oryx.
So the Aruni peeks here in just a moment. Right there, she pre-fires, almost kills him. Luckily Spoit, you know, misses the bullets. He crouches. And that's because he's changing his head level, right? So if this Aruni re-swings, she's now going to have to adjust from head level to crouch level in order to get that headshot. Does that make sense? So he's making the job of the Aruni killing him harder, and also if the Aruni were to re-swing, she would most likely swing off of the information that she just got from the first time she swung. So that way, you know, like I said, Spoit doesn't get his, you know, head just get taken off here. So that's mute. Based off the Jackal pings, I'm assuming. I actually did not know you could do that. You run up onto that sign. So, previous information, Spoit opened the door to Archives, you know, earlier in the round. So he's using that information to his advantage because he knows the Aruni is somewhere in Africa. This metal half wall, if you guys know, through that soft wall, there's a little half wall there. You know, that's where the Aruni's at roughly. So he's not going to keep trying to fight the Aruni just because if he were to, like, he's peeking through a window. It's very easy to predict, you know, where you're going to be holding on a window. So he's changing up the angle so that way his level of predictability goes down just because the Aruni is, you know, re-peeking so much and getting so much information on him. As you see there, he walks in. That is actually so unfortunate. I wonder how lit that Aruni was. So yeah, basically what he did there, with walking in so confidently, he has a Jackal ping currently going out as you see there. So you notice one is in archives. He has the bookshelf here, if you can see. Look at also where he's pre-aiming, right? Like, he's not worried about the door because the window's open, and this Aruni doesn't really know quite yet that that Spoit has rotated now, because she's also fighting someone armory just by you hearing her gun, or she's preoccupied with something, right? If she's going to be shooting, she's most likely going to be shooting at a drone, a person, piece of utility, whatever it is. So you know that she's preoccupied for the most part when she's shooting her gun, and that's just, you know, game sense there of understanding what certain guns sound like. So she's engaging in some sort of activity that's taking up her attention. So she's most likely not going to swing. You have the guy's archives, you have the Aruni armory. So you know where 2 out of the 3 defenders are currently. So he's pretty much just playing off that information, and also, like I said, repositioning so that way he's not as predictable. And as he walks in, he checks his close just in case someone might have rotated there. And then he has the bookshelf to his left here as cover, so that way he can look into the bomb site. You know, most likely he's looking for the Aruni in specific, just because he was fighting her just a moment ago through the archives window. So he's looking for that kill. He eventually finds her as he swings out. Again, still keeping the cover of the archive wall there to his left, so that way, you know, anyone in archives can't see him, or he's just trying to expose the least amount of him as possible, so that way he's in the least amount of danger. And pretty much just unfortunate there. I'm assuming he thought like he would have injured that Aruni, and if you saw, actually what he did is he went from shooting the Aruni to immediately looking to the archive side because of that jackal ping, as I said earlier on. In the situation is in archives, so he knows someone is close based off the jackal ping and that information, and then he knows where the Aruni's at. Like I said, 2 out of the 3 defenders.
I thought I killed him.
Yeah, like he said, he just there. He said, "I thought I killed him." So he thought he injured, and then, you know, as soon as he's injures that guy, he's already looking for the next gunfight, which he knows where the most likely the closest person to him is going to be. Again, the guy in archives.
Sure. You guys push up, I'll push from basketball. First, think for tier 1.
Push through like archives or something.
They have cap and tracks, it's just a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're pretty, you know, average call out. He saw the cap can trap on the doorway there, and he's just calling out the cap can.
Brick is clear.
He hears his pulse close, I was about to say. There's a pulse. He just played off audio there pretty much on that pulse. He knew he was there because the pulse just shot at him through the wall a moment ago. So, yeah. Alright, so here what he's doing is he's avoiding that cap can EDD on that doorway that you just saw. And there's a few reasons for this. First of all, he just got very accurate and fresh information on this Aruni. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Aruni is actually making a rotate there. So I don't know if you guys saw that. She was making a rotate into back workshop, which we'll see in just a moment, most likely when he swings through customs. But shooting the cap can does one of 2 things. Sorry, 2 things rather. One, it allows Spoit, or sorry, avoiding the cap can going through the wall into customs allows Spoit to avoid you know, the cap can and shooting it, you know, potentially slowing him down, you know, and reacting to how fresh this information is on the Aruni. And it also doesn't allow the Aruni to get information on Spoit maybe as accurately, because she might know that that cap can is on that double door. She hears the cap can get shot, and then she just pre-fires, or is, you know, a little bit more prepared for the gunfight. So those are the 2 primary reasons that I could see him skipping that cap can, and just also predictability factor here as well. Like, if you go through a wall, it's going to be a little bit less predictable than you just walking through a doorway that's always there, right? Because that hole that he just made isn't there every single round, but the doorway is. Does that make sense? So predictability of someone walking through a doorway is higher than someone, you know, breaking open a wall and then peeking from an angle that you might not be expecting as much. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So actually, I don't know if that Aruni just hit a flick, but she definitely... That was a really nice nade. That Aruni actually reacted to Spoit there, so I don't know if she heard the sledge audio cue maybe of him breaking the wall into customs. I was about to say the cap can. I don't want to see you get taken out by the cap can there.
One in bathroom, captain.
This is a very micro mistake that definitely determines situations in gunfights and outcomes of situations in gunfights. And this can get really, really complicated. And this is something that I see all the time and I help my clients with throughout my coaching service. You know, and I see them, most of them, you know, fix this issue. And once I explain what it is exactly. And if you guys are interested in that, there's a link to my coaching down below in the description. But if you look at how Spoit approached this angle, and this is a very, very small mistake. So he face checks, whatever, and he's looking deep into the angle, but look at how he is exposing himself to the to these angles here. So let's just number these off so that way it's a little bit more easier for explanation's sake. So let's call, you know, this left side of the door where that X is at. Let's call that angle 1. This X here where this cap can is peeking, let's call that angle 2. Let me just get rid of that so we can see the cap can. And then this doorway here over here on this X, let's call that angle 3. So if his crosshair is where the circle's at there, roughly, look at where he has to react in order to kill this cap can or potentially kill someone swinging on door 3 there. So this is, you know, overexposing yourself on an angle. I'm sure that he knows the mistake that he made as soon as he made it. You know, this is a little bit of timing, but this is very easily avoided by not exposing yourself into an angle where you have to react. Instead, what you want to do, you want to have pre-aim where pretty much the enemy peeks into you. Now, that's in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world, but that's something that you should strive to do because that's one less step to make in order to winning that gunfight over the enemy. So for me to explain this, I explain this to my clients as a ready stance. So if you think of a sport, if you've played a sport before, you guys kind of know a ready stance, like feet shoulder width apart, bend of the knees, maybe a little tilted forward, just so that way you're a little bit more agile and you're able to respond with your body in whichever way you need to move, you know, whatever sport it is. The same logic applies here. So if we look at being ready for a gunfight in that ready stance, right? Proper head placement of your crosshair, right? Like you want to be pre-aiming for their head so that way it takes less effort in order to kill that person because one bullet headshot, like I said before. So that's one step. Being ADS'd is another step, so that way, you know, you're not ADSing into the middle of the gunfight because if you're ADS'd, obviously your bullets are going to be going wherever you're aiming. And third is pre-aiming where the enemy is going to peek. So like that ready stance, like I said. So Spoit has 2 out of those 3 here. And I understand why he did what he did. He is just, you know, peeking the angle, trying to get information. And unfortunately, the cap can did swing when he was placing his cross on the left side of the doorway.
I don't see anything CCTV. You can walk in the switch.
Where are they both?
One on ping, on 5 ping standing. On 5 ping off cams.
One thing I'm not really liking what I'm seeing right now is he's playing hyper aggressive. You really don't need this. He's also face checking a lot and just kind of going off of whims. Like as you saw there, he was cooking a nade to throw it over the customs wall. When he was exposing his back to the sight windows, like I'm not really too big of a fan of that, but ended up working out. Either way, I kind of wish there was a little bit more of support maybe from his teammates holding the windows while he was cooking his nade, or you know, maybe him droning to get a little bit more information before he does act upon anything. Just seemed a little reckless, in my opinion.
One's office, one's office.
Yeah, that's massive. Oh my god.
What? This ping, man. Like,
Yeah.
In custom.
See, pretty much exactly what happened there is what I was talking about just a moment ago. Of
Yeah, Pwnage played a lot of rank when he was in his prime. Yeah.
just reckless. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like it's a very doing that is just like a very simple thing of just slowing down, really getting information and then acting upon it. One thing that I talk about quite a bit is, you know, the player who reacts or plays off of impulse versus intel. You know, if you're very impulsive, you're just kind of making whim decisions on the fly. It's going to lead you to dying a lot more versus strictly acting off of intel or acting off of intel as much as you can. That will lead you to making better decisions, being in better positions, and winning more gunfights, rounds, and games, and getting more elo, and you know, increasing KD and all those things. Just by doing that one simple thing of reacting off of intel, not in pulse. So that's what I would say was the biggest letback there, is just being impulsive, kind of whim, you know, on the fly. Not really, I'm not saying he wasn't thinking, but not thinking as much or preparing himself for situations as much. A little spawn peek here. Let's see what Spoit's got on the spawn peek. Spoit's nasty, man. He's such a good player. Definitely mechanically gifted. Really good understanding of audio there. Oh yeah, do it. Do it. I know you want to. I know you want to. He's got to be careful of the door now because he just got droned. Yeah, so he pretty much peels out. Try to get an early pick onto the Cali, which is understandable. I definitely think if you're confident, like peeking a Cali is I mean, it's not safe just to swing the enemy on defense, you know, like unless you're ego challenging them, but like Cali has one bullet, you know, like bolt action sniper, right? So her RPMs is very low, right? So she may not be able to react as fast as you, or you might catch her you know, bolting another round, chambering another round. So peeking a Cali is a little bit better than peeking someone with like an automatic weapon. So very small detail here. Let's look at this. So look at how he's positioning himself. Spoit playing on ratting here, bro. So look at this. So he sees one ace, you know, detonate through the wall. Like you saw one line there, like when the ace attaches itself to the reinforcement and then starts hard breaching. Then you see another one happen here. And look at how he reacts. So he sees that one come down now, and he's like, oh man. Because he if they only opened the left side of the wall here, he was gonna play close right, I guarantee you, and try to rat out there. So super small detail there. I like the effort, I like the hustle, the attempt. And obviously, you know, as he sees that they're opening the entire wall, he's gonna rotate out just because it's not a very safe position to play all that much. Capitao, oof. That is unfortunate. I want to see this kill cam. Don't skip it. Oh, he was close. Okay.
I can't see this guy because of the ping.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you meant like ping, like in-game ping, like latency, but that alibi kind of fucked him a little bit too. Because this is something that I do on alibi a lot. Is you want people to shoot the alibi, right? But so many people, look at how the alibi is placed. So many, like if you place an alibi behind an object, right? You want to cover its feet so that way it's not as easily shot and destroyed. But people put it like on objects. Like if you look here, how close this alibi clone is on the shield itself. Like if you want to peek over the shield and stuff, you're gonna be hitting this alibi and you're like walking over it or whatever it is. Just place it behind you further, like away from the object, so that way there's a distance between whatever object you're gonna be playing and the alibi. So that way you can play in between the two. So if the shit, like a bird's eye view from what we're seeing here, if this is the shield here, this little whatever I just drew, if that's the shield, you know, whatever, and you're playing here on this X, and then the alibi is over here, on the X behind you on X number 2, and you know you're on X number 1. Now you're able to peek up the shield with complete freedom and visibility versus the alibi being in front of you and just blocking your vision and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I don't know. That's just a little pet peeve of mine. That's a little pet peeve of mine with alibi, though. Small detail here, too. If you're in a lower elo environment, this is very important and something that you need to learn today. So his teammate called him over to bring the shield back. So that way the ADS can catch grenades, ash charges, Zo impacts, whatever it is. Whatever utility that can destroy a shield and also be caught by an ADS. This adjustment here is on the micro level of things that really matter in this game. And the sooner you start doing these things, build a habit of them, the sooner you will benefit from them and also benefit in the long run, you know, your entire time playing this game as a as an individual. So super small detail like stuff like this here is what you really see in higher elo, and maybe some people might not catch on to it. So I just wanted to point that out. You know, making sure that ADSs and OMIs are, you know, being able to catch utility and stuff like that, so that way it can appropriately cover the utility. Also, another thing with Wamai, don't put your Wamais next to each other, because the Wamais kind of have a little explosion when they catch something and then detonate that thing, right? So don't stack it up next to other utility, because it will destroy the other utility, especially when a Wamai catches something like a frag grenade or an ass charge or Zo impact. So you need to be very, very cautious with how you place Wamai magnets down. That's another thing that I see happen quite a bit with a lot of players, especially in high elo. I'll see two Wamai magnets right next to each other and it pisses me off. Sorry, a little tangent there, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you guys aren't making that mistake. I don't understand why people do this with this wall. Okay, I understand why they do it, but they don't need to. This wall should be reinforced, because like we saw from round 1 when Spoit was Twitch archive side, this wall sees all the way across the bomb site, right? If you open this wall here, you can see all the way into bunker on armory. So you can be outside as an attacker, and you can be killing someone in bunker in armory. This wall should be reinforced. And the only reason that I'm going to assume, and you know, obviously, it's pretty obvious, but the reason that it's not reinforced is because they made holes there for nitros and smokes and things like that. So that way, if they do walk in the armor or the archives door there, or just in this general area, they can smoke or nitro, or you know, if the attackers are planting. But look at the wall. If you reinforce this, you still have a very large window directly above the wall that should be reinforced. I see a lot of people do this, and a lot of people want to leave this wall soft. And this is something that you used to do on old border, but you don't need to now, because there's a huge gap above the wall itself that allows you to do exactly what you're attempting to do here with this little shotgun, you know, the shotgun holes, right? So you can throw nitros over this wall, smokes over this wall, whatever it is. I've tested it. Definitely doable. 100% definitely doable. So yeah, I don't know why so many people are doing that still. If what the attackers can gain is so powerful if used properly, then you need to make sure that they don't have that, right? Because cutting the bomb site in half as the attackers is a fundamental thing for winning rounds, especially for site executions. When you cut the bomb site between 1 or 2 bomb sites in half, so that way the defenders cannot rotate to or from the bomb sites itself. See, look at here, like this wall's open, and now these people on the balcony can see all the way into armory. So it's not a good thing for defenders at all to experience this. It just makes your job a living hell. Yeah, I don't know what that guy's doing.
That's outside the east. 90, bro, what?
Listen, I'm assuming that Spoit doesn't really care about this because he's on an alt account and he doesn't care about elo. He's just trying to, you know, frag and be entertaining and shoot people for stream and stuff. But he's like, he played this entire round all too aggressive for smoke. Like, smoke is a fun, like a foundational operator for defense, right? Like he can crowd control, make rotates, he has a shield. Like, overall, people understand how important smoke is, and when you're playing this aggressive, you know, you're gonna get caught off guard a time or two. And now that's 3 smoke canisters off of the board. Maybe he did use one, I'm not too sure. No, so he had all 3 smoke canisters there when he died. So that's 30 seconds that could have been burned, and you know, maybe a plant being denied as well. Like I said, though, I'm assuming that he doesn't really care about, you know, winning or losing. He just wants to be entertaining and kind of frag out and, you know, chill and talk to stream or whatever it is. Because, I mean, the title is literally Chilled End of Season Ranked. So, yeah, like I said, you know, I don't think he cares all too much. But I am here to kind of teach you guys through him. So, I hope that makes sense.
Opening armor.
You sneaky... Man, Spoit does some rat stuff, bro, and I love it. I love seeing me some rat stuff unless I'm dying to it. Then I hate it. But I think that goes for everyone. So actually, similar to my Pengu VOD review, By the way, if you guys have not watched that video, I VOD reviewed Pwnage Champion rank game. It's like 45 minutes. I went crazy in depth, so definitely go check that out if you guys do enjoy this video, because I had a lot of fun making that one. And if you guys want to see me do other content creators or Pro League players, let me know in the comments down below too. You know, I got Bolo on my list, Shaiko obviously. Pretty much anyone that you want me to VOD review, content creator, Pro League player wise, like I'm with it. So what Spoit's doing here is he's pre-aiming, so that way if an attacker walks up to the barricade, he's gonna shoot them in their center mass level, but he's actually looking with his eyes under the barricade for motion. That way he knows where to shoot, obviously, based off where the feet are. That's what he's doing here. He's looking under the barricade, but he's placing his crosshair in a position where when he is in a moment where he needs to shoot at an attacker, his crosshair is placed in a position where it's going to do more damage because it might hit them in the head and kill them instantly, or hit them in the chest, because it does more damage to their, you know, torso and chest and stuff. Versus instead of, you know, putting your crosshair at someone's legs and shooting them in the legs as they try to cross, right? Just a lot easier to do and an easier target to hit. Yeah, like I said again, very, very aggressive. And I mean, that's kind of Spoit's playstyle, I guess you could say. He's definitely a smart player. He knows what he's doing, but he's hyper aggressive, and actively seeks for gunfights. So, yeah, that's my biggest complaint right now, is just the operator selection to how he's playing said operator. Like, a smoke should really not be playing that aggressive that early on, or, you know, playing that aggressive just in general unless it's needed, right? What he's doing is wanted. He wants to take gunfights. He wants to go for these things, right? Just like peppered him and then unswung. He's closer. He's closer than this. No, he's not. Wow, okay. I was wrong. That's a good understanding of audio there. I genuinely thought he was in the blue hall there. But I guess he was hearing it over the wall maybe, or through the shotgun hole there. Get him, Spoit. Sick him. Go get him. Peek him. Peek him. Get him. Placing his crosser in the middle because he doesn't know what side he's on. So that way he can equally react to whatever side he is on. I don't know why he's pre-aiming there if he knows he's in jail. His teammate just called in jail. I don't know, maybe if it's a different EU call out? Because I know EU does have calls things differently.
Where's
So
It's in customs.
I'm very surprised at how
So I'm just staying on site.
he's playing off of audio there. Spoit understands audio a lot better than I thought he did. Holy shit. Because I'm just gonna say it outright. Like, I understand audio very well. I spent a lot of time understanding audio. And I can tell you pretty much exactly where an operator is and who they are and what they're doing just based off very minimal audio cues. I've been doing it for a long time. So, just seeing him understand the difference between the Jackal shooting inside versus outside is insane. Because if we go back and listen to how he's shooting, listen to how Jackal's guns sound here in just a moment.
Is he jail?
Listen to how it sounds.
Yeah, like outside in the corner, you know?
Okay. So you hear it there. Now listen to it when he shoots again in just a moment.
He's baiting.
I'm being tracked. Main door.
Okay, so do you hear how the first time Jackal shot his gun, it was very crisp, precise, and it didn't carry all too much? Like, it was like, okay, you hear it, and then it's done. When Jackal is shooting outside, and this goes for anyone actually, when you're shooting outside, since you're not, you know, in a room or whatever it is, the sound isn't able to travel. So when Jackal's shooting outside, the second time he just did there just a moment ago, you heard the gun sound travel. You heard it echo, and it was a lot more spacey. It was floaty, like it wasn't crisp and tight like how it is when it's shot inside. And I'll play it one more time for you guys. So listen to how it sounds.
He's baiting.
I'm being tracked.
So
Main
do
door.
you hear how the gun echoes because there's nothing for the sound to bounce off of or catch the sound? Does that make sense? Very similar to real life. Like if you yell at a lake or in a mountain or a canyon or whatever, the sound's gonna echo. It's gonna bounce off the walls. It's gonna travel, right? Versus yelling in a room, the sound's not gonna travel because it's not, you know, it's in a room, right? It's being dampened by a carpet or rug or drapes or whatever. And that's what causes Spoit to rotate here, is the fact that he understood the difference between the Jackal shooting inside versus outside. He knew that Jackal was outside, so he had a moment of rotation ability where he knew Jackal's outside right now. I don't need to be looking at this doorway anymore because he's outside. Does that make sense? So that's a very, very, very small detail that maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but I think it's very
Where's the diffuser?
I think it's definitely worth covering.
In customs.
Swapping mags!
I'm being tracked, so I'm just staying on site.
Customs.
So he hears him in customs. I mean, just,
Yeah.
oh, that's unfortunate.
Nice.
I mean, good aim. It's like his point, man, you know. But I don't like the way that he positioned himself.
Smoke.
Like if you look at how he positioned himself, if the Jackal knows where he's at, then the Spoit has to cross back in order to, you know, be in a position where he's able to leave. So pretty much he put himself in a position where Jackal knows that he can only be in that position because the Jackal's holding him actively. Does that make sense? I call it painting yourself into a corner. Another thing that I go over all the time with my clients through my coaching service, and is a fundamental mistake that so many people make and they don't even realize it. I see it like almost every single VOD review session, especially in lower elo clients. And it's like a thing where you can fix instantly just by being conscious of it and actually being taught, like, hey, you know, this, you're doing this mistake, here's how to fix it, kind of thing. So yeah.
If you burn it, I can nade it.
Break is clear, Cavalry is clear as well. I'm running top east.
Bomb has been located.
Oh shit.
So you saw there, he opened the archives door. This is how much influence opening one barricade can really have in this game. So, like opening that barricade changes how you play archives as a whole dynamic as a defender now. Because like we saw in round 1 where he was walking up his Twitch and stuff, like he was able to make that play and not notify the defenders as much as he would need to if he kept it closed and then opened it when he was actually going to utilize it, notifying the defenders that, hey, the door's open. He might walk in that door because he just shot it open. Does that make sense? So he's just kind of preparing himself for potentially walking in or whatever it is. But either way, yeah, it just adds a lot more pressure to the defenders, which is, you know, nice to see that he's actually doing that.
Nice.
Nice. Located a bomb.
Just one more, he's ready for it. Yep, there's a swing.
I'm planting 50.
Doesn't know where last one's at. So if you saw, like, so his teammates are in armory, so he checked close just in case, because that's really the only spot he can be the enemy without his teammates armory side seeing him. And he wasn't looking archive side because he just killed 2 people there, and it's very uncommon for people to be stacking up like that much, especially in higher elo. Like, that's just bad, horrible positioning. So he kills 2 people archives and then, you know, starts looking elsewhere. Pretty much process of elimination. Like, my teammates are here. Okay, here's clear. I just killed 2 people here. So where's the next spot it's going to be? It's going to be top metal, right? Does that make sense? It's a good round. Good play by him.
Friendly mission successful.
I think it was a little aggressive, but it paid off, man. Like, it's just,
yeah,
you know. Again, that's Spoit's playstyle, man. Like, he has the mechanics to back it up and all that stuff, and, you know, more power to him.
Russian players?
I'm sure he plays a lot more structured and, you know, like I said earlier, cares a lot more about his life and getting info and preparing things a little bit more strategically on his main account, or, you know, when he's actually grinding ranked, trying to
Can you qualify for charm?
really try.
No, you need to be 18. Yeah, CC system. Yeah.
Dude, there's so many small tips in this video that, like, I'm covering big concepts, I feel like, but there's also small stuff that I'm catching too. So when you are using a revolver, you never want to reload unless you're absolutely done using it, right? And like for this example with the bailiff, he's making rotates, lines of sight, whatever. You should always shoot as many shells as you have left in the clip, because it doesn't matter if you shoot one shell and have 4 left and reload, or shoot all of them. It's going to be the same time to reload. So you get more shots out per minute just because you're reloading less and shooting more ammo. Does that make sense? So you want to reload at 0 as much as you can with revolvers if you're making rotates or lines of sight, if you know, stuff like that, like the Karatos, the French revolver like on K, Doc, Twitch, you know, all them, and then the bailiff as well.
10 seconds left.
Alright, let's win this game.
5 seconds left.
See, like again there, you know, he just shot 4 more shells.
4 has located
It's a very small thing, like it doesn't matter that much, but just to make sight setup a little bit easier or efficient in time. You know, it's a small thing that you can do to kind of make it a little bit more efficient. You know, probably save like a second or two, so that way you're just that much more prepared. Oh my god.
Wait, I'm stuck.
Oh my god, you're stuck, set, bro.
Oh, no,
Wait, Spoit's 18 now, right? Wait.
They got jail.
Oh, they got jail. Okay. Yo,
I'm just yoking. Oh my god, Fryer. Who is she peeking? Oh, he's put down an alibi to bait. Bam, there we go. Good stuff. Little pocket alibi. You gotta be careful of, there's a window now. Okay. Man, people might think Spoit's just like a fragger, like all he does is just peek everything and all that. But he knows what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing with angles and audio and positioning and all that stuff. Like, he's not one of the most mechanically gifted players, and you know, someone who hits champion for no reason, man. Like, he definitely knows what he's doing, that's for sure. I got fire bolted. Unfortunate. Oh, what a play.
Injured right side main door. Injured right side
I
main
think,
door. You can kill him.
I get why he went for the bailiff kill there, maybe from memes, I don't know. But it's a shotgun close range, like it's gonna definitely probably be a little bit better. But I don't think he should have thirsted there. I think he should have taken the injure. Because I know that he knew that he injured them. Like, you heard the audio cue and you saw the Capitao kind of go through the injure animation as he unswung. And if you guys don't know what that looks like, pretty much, like if someone's crouched, they're going to go from a crouch position to laying on their back, right? Like everyone knows the injured animation in the game. So it's pretty easy to understand that. And also the audio cue of hearing someone like hit the floor has a very distinct audio cue when they do get injured. I think you should have went with the MX4 Storm there in that gunfight. Killed the Capitao, because I mean he has the aim, he has the mechanics for it. Like taking a gunfight that close, I'm sure wouldn't be too much of a hassle for him, especially when he's catching someone off guard, like breaking barbed wire and being mid animation. And then that way he would have been able to be prepared for the next gunfight, because he knows that Capitao and Zofia are here, because Zofia just shot the Prisma, and you know he's also been engaging in gunfights and hearing the Zofia shoot and stuff. Main door anyways, so he knows that she's there and he knows that the Capitao's there, so there's at least one more here that he knows about. So I think the primary would have been a better option for taking that gunfight onto the Capitao, just so that way he was ready for the next gunfight, wherever it might have been. But either way, that is going to be the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed or learned anything from it, make sure you guys leave a like and consider subscribing. It greatly helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and also lets me know what kind of content you guys want to see in the future. If you guys enjoy this kind of, you know, style of content where I VOD review content creators or Pro League players, let me know what content creators and Pro League players you want to see next, because I'm having a lot of fun reviewing this series. It's a little bit of a different spice up, you know, a little bit of a different kind of vibe than my normal VOD review videos. So just let me know who you'd like to see next. Also, if you guys are looking for an in-depth VOD review like this one here, or a coaching session, I go completely in-depth live with my clients in my Discord, and you also have access to my DMs every single day, 24/7, if you ever have any questions, or I need to break a situation down, whatever it is, I'm always there for you. If you guys are interested in the coaching, there's a link to my Patreon down below where you can find all of the info you need and more by scrolling to the bottom of the page. And I've also helped over 250 clients. They've all seen improvement. And I also coach console players, so there's no worry there. In the description, you can also find links to all of my social media. So if you guys are interested in that, keeping up to date with me, come in to check out my live stream, hang out there. All the links to everything will be in the description for that stuff as well. Well, all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.